What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Mark by Wrestling here with you. It's time for NXT. Let's see what happened last week. We had 4 title matches on the line. 3 of them changed hands. Surprisingly, Ilio LaFleur winning the speed title. I don't know how surprising that was, although it was a great match to see with the 7-minute time limit. But the Vanity Project being the new tag team champions, would have thought Dark State, I don't know, taking more time because they invested so much time in it, right? And ZaRuca officially done, so we're just going to have to see what we get out of that. And of course, Miles Bourne, our new North American champion. I wonder if he has changed the strap yet. I guess we'll find out tonight. Tony D'Angelo, of course, being instrumental in Dark State's dethroning. Good to see you guys, Dawsey and George. See you both here. And everybody else, feel free to like that video. Join the conversation as we watch the best and who's on deck in WWE before they meet the main roster. I have not seen the Scary Movie trailer yet. Is it any good? I've been distanced from Scary Movie for a while. I remember seeing the original one in the theater, but yeah, it's been a minute. And I also remember, I think Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss reenacting one of the fights from Scary Movie in one of their matches. Jayne beats ZaRuca in like 3 seconds due to Zaria's betrayal. And now Zaria wants her title match. Will we see Soul come for revenge? Or will we have a new champion tonight? All right. Oh, you saw the Mount Rushmore. Thanks, Sophie Duffy. Yeah, by the way, I've been doing a series called Mount Rushmore Matches with my older brother, where we take old school wrestlers and just kind of give you 4 sample matches to check out by them if you've never seen them before or you want to revisit them. This week we did the Russian Nightmare, Nikkita Koloff. If you've familiarized yourself, with Rusev, really dominant foreign heels. One of the blueprints for that gimmick was the Russian Nightmare, Nikkita Koloff, in the mid 80s. So my brother and I kind of broke him down a little bit, went through that, discussed some of his feuds. So if you're into that kind of thing, check it out. It's on the channel. And yes, we are 1 for 1 in 2026 predictions. Axe and Smash, Demolition are going to the Hall of Fame, ladies and gentlemen. Overdue, long overdue. So, George, what do you got to say about the women's title? Put it on Zaria so we can get Soul and Zaria. I would love to see Soul and Zaria for the NXT title at Stand and Deliver. I'd be all for it. I mean, Jacy Jayne has done great work with that title, far exceeded any expectations I had of her. So at this point, she can stand to lose the title. National Pancake IHOP Day. Well, happy IHOP Day to you too, Zach. All right, coming straight out is the new North American champion, and Miles Bourne has restrapped that North American title. It's looking classic again. Never break, Miles Bourne. What's up, Shamanica? Good to see you. Lockwood, you're just watching Taz's debut. His WWE debut or all the way back at his ECW debut? Let me know what you think there. It played before Scream 7. Oh, yeah. You know what? I've seen one of these newer Scream movies. I can't even remember which one it was I saw, though. Maybe it was Scream 6. Maybe it was 5. I don't remember. But I get kind of exhausted with these reboot properties, I get excited for a little while, and then I'm like, man, I miss original ideas. You deserve it, Chance, already, but he can't hear. I'm just kidding. He might make that joke. But Miles Bourne here to give his opening promo as North American champion. It's going to be a great Hall of Fame class, no doubt. You got Stephanie McMahon, AJ Styles, and Demolition so far. Just a great run. Yeah, I heard the Hall of Fame is going to be on after SmackDown. I feel like there's got to be better placement they can do for that, because that's a long night for the talent. It's a long night for the fans, especially now that SmackDown's back to 3 hours. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Miles Bourne said, I want to thank the haters. The WWE. Oh, yeah. So that was at what, Royal Rumble 2000, Lockwood, the Taz debut. Hot crowd, Madison Square Garden. Sub last name. Having a good day. Hope you are too. Yeah. Sophie Dofi. It was Axe of Demolition who had been blacklisted. I think he sued. He had a lawsuit against Vince, I think, regarding, I want to say, concussions or some sort of long-term injury. Yeah. Yeah, Dawsey. Stephanie's the headliner. Miles Bourne hit him with the Verizon. He said, can you hear me now? And here comes Ethan Page to interrupt. I guess we're not done yet here. How did I feel about the Punk and Roman segment? It was fine. You know, I'm gonna be ready for that match when it comes, right? I don't know how much they can really do in this 5 or 6 weeks they have to build Mania. But here's the thing for me about CM Punk in 2026. He can't hide the fact that he has joy in his life now. And so a lot of his sort of ticked off demeanor that Punk carries on the mic feels disingenuous now. Like, I don't really believe he's angry anymore, which in real life I'm really happy for. I don't believe he's angry in kayfabe anymore either, though. And so Roman, I actually buy it a little bit, but also, like, I don't know. Punk has been baby facing this title run the whole time, and then he's kind of blurring the lines with Roman. So, like, who are you supposed to cheer for? I don't know. But at the end of the day, WrestleMania is going to happen, and I'm going to be ready to see it. So, finally get there. Yes, Sophie. Axe retired in 91, I think. Late 91, and he was replaced by Crush. Brian Adams, who was in Chronic and WCW and the NWO for a while. But yeah, Crush, and before he was Kona Crush or the Disciples of Apocalypse Crush, he was the third member of Demolition. That's how he debuted with the company. Okay, we're doing a street closed title match right now. This is insane. Miles Bourne didn't even wait for Ethan Page to get his jacket off. And Miles Bourne fighting with fire too, you know. He's not, I would say he's not fighting like a sportsman, like a gentleman. He's like, "Oh, okay, you want to fight? Then we'll just fight." So yeah, North American title rematch happening right now in the opening segment in street clothes. Yeah, Dawsey, I know he was hitting on the Christian Cage stuff, and I'm just kind of like, whatever. I don't love that kind of cheap heat, if I'm being honest. I would like to see Danhausen float around I don't think he has to be locked into one show. Yeah, Lockwood. I when I say retired, I think it's just when they disappeared from WWE. I was being a little localized because Axe disappeared from WWE at Royal Rumble, not Royal Rumble, Survivor Series. It was either 90 or 91. It was the year where Mr. Perfect and all three members of Demolition took on the Ultimate Warrior, the Legion of Doom, and Kerry Von Erich, the Texas Tornado. That was Axe's last match. 91. There we go. It was 91. Okay. But yeah. I would assume Miles keeps this title in this defense here. But, NXT does weird stuff, man. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I was excited to see Penta win the title and doing the whole Danhausen curse thing. I think that works well to put it on Dom, I enjoy it. Yeah, Taker's in the right role now, I think. Also, I'm not trying to be mean to Michelle McCool at all, but I think his podcast works better when he's the only guy there. When he's just interviewing people one-on-one. I say interviewing. He really just when he has one of the boys on, one of the former wrestlers, they're just having a talk. They're just having a conversation. It's not really an interview. But I think that's probably the best cadence and best style for Taker. Because I don't really watch his show that much. Yeah, they could. I mean, having him lose right back to Ethan Page, though, I feel like Ethan Page has accomplished a lot, in NXT at this point, and I don't know that he needs to be locked into a title anymore. Especially since they've already changed the strap too. If they kept the strap from last week, I'd be a little more cautious. That's how it's going to go, but we'll see. Raquel's role at WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that has in what WrestleMania has in store for Raquel. We'll have to see. The Cruiserweight Classic was a lot of fun, Lockwood. It would be great to bring that back. Honestly, NXT could host it. Last name, I think Penta could hold the title for a few months. It really just depends on who they want to line up as a who do they want to line up as a challenger for him, would you put the Kaiser El Grande Americano up against him? Rusev? I'm trying to think what other mid-card heels there are right now. Austin Theory, I don't know. Javon is on my list of title holders for 2026. That's one of my other predictions. So I hope that comes to fruition. Since I got the Demolition one right, I'm very excited about the prospect of getting other predictions right. Vic Joseph just shouted out Penta on commentary. Love to see it. George, seeing the matches that have been announced for tonight, I have no reason to believe anything else will main event the show tonight other than Jacy, Jayne, and Zaria. Why do I think the cruiserweight division got fumbled both times WWE did it? Because ultimately, I think Vince didn't care about it. I mean, I mean, that's what at the end of the day, I don't think Vince cares about little wrestlers. He's always been a big man guy. Oh my gosh. Coming through. I tell you what, man, Ethan Page looking like 85 Ric Flair with his clothes being all ripped to pieces. Hit him with his belt buckle and only got a 2 count behind the ref's back. Do I think Dom and Finn will be one-on-one, or they do a triple threat, Penta, Dom, and Finn? Honestly, I'd rather Dom and Finn be one-on-one and Penta wrestle somebody else. I would prefer to see that. Oh, Bourne's got the ankle lock, and Page, still got that Pillmanized ankle from a couple of weeks ago. Bourne's got his shoe. Bourne has his shoe. Oh, and Bourne just clocks him with a shoe behind the ref's back. Bourne again. That's going to be it. Miles Bourne is becoming a cheating babyface. He is hitting a streak here, a mean streak, and kind of by any means necessary. I like it. It's a wrinkle in his character. I appreciate it. And also turnabout was fair play, because Ethan opened that door and Miles Bourne shut it. Nico, what's up, man? What are my thoughts on Penta's new IC champ? I love it. Yeah, love it for Penta. It was about time that he got his due. I would say it's overdue, but it was a good time for Penta to get some gold. He's been crazy ever since he debuted. So yeah, super happy for him. All right. Well, opening segment turns into an impromptu match. Miles Bourne has his first North American title defense. All right, we're in the parking lot. Zaria. Who else? Dark State hang around. Zaria standoffish. Wait, who's coming after Robert Stone approaching Dark State with a lot of security? Oh, Dark State's looking for Tony. So, and Tony, Robert Stone says, "We are not having the NXT parking lot on my watch. You got to get in the building." And who just pulled up? And a nice ride, by the way. Oh, it's Tony. Just in time. He's popping the trunk. What's he got? Crowbar. Or tire iron, sorry. Tony and the tire iron Tony in the house. Blake Monroe is here, and she's set to have a confrontation with Jaida Parker tonight. We'll see what happens. Honestly, my hope is that maybe Soul tries to interfere tonight and it backfires and Zaria wins the title. I think that could be a lot of fun. And then, yes, still at the end of the day, when we get Soul and Zaria, it's for the title. What I would do is have, if it were up to me, I would have Soul inadvertently cost Jacy Jayne the match tonight, trying to interfere. And then at Vengeance Day, I would have Jacy Jayne get her rematch, and I would have Zaria win that as well. And then have Soul and Zaria one-on-one for the title at Stand and Deliver. And by the way, I would have Zaria win that match too. And then, give Jacy a quick feud with somebody else for Stand and Deliver. And then Soul and Jacy can both move up after WrestleMania. Or they could even debut at WrestleMania, depending on what they're doing with the women's division. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would do. All 4 horsewomen are not in the main event of WrestleMania. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. I think Soul is on her way out. Um, I think Soul's on her way out, and I think Jacy is on her way out too. It's just a matter of do they leave together or do they stagger them? Ah, thanks, Nico. I appreciate it. I mean, because you can let Zaria have a little bit of a monster run, and then you could have anybody take the belt off Zaria. You could have it, you know, you have a lot of female wrestlers. You could use Kendall Gray. You could use Blake Monroe. You could use Jada Parker if you wanted to, or Lola Vice if you wanted, or Kalani. Any of them, honestly, because Zarya is kind of a heel, but she's not right now with this turn on Soul. But she's not a heel who's friendly with other heels. She's a lonely heel, so anybody could go after her. Which I like her being champion if that's the case. Oh, I don't know that my booking's better. I don't know what their booking is yet. We'll just have to find out. Wait and see how it's going. Sup, Tyrell? Thanks for joining the chat tonight. Good to see you as well. I hope everybody's doing well and looking forward to WrestleMania. And yeah, we're on the road now, man. Elimination Chamber is behind us, and it's time to move forward. So let's see what we got. How do I feel about the Oba Femi and Rusev feud? I love these little mid card feuds that Oba's doing right now. He wrecked Kit Wilson and The Miz on SmackDown. He pretty much flattened Rusev here on last night. Um, I just need him to answer Brock's open challenge before Mania. I want Brock and Oba at Mania. I mean, I want Oba with anybody at Mania, but I think he would be the best choice to put with Brock for that match. That's just how I see it. All right. Well, we're almost on our way back. Again tonight, yeah. So Vengeance Day is this weekend. We got Kalani and Lola in an underground match. We got Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley for the women's North American title. We've got Joe Hendry and Ricky Saints for the NXT title, and Blake and Jaida too. So I mean, we're gonna have a pretty good time there as well. Gunther is a viable candidate as well. Well, we'll have to see what happens. All right, here's Blake. Yeah, I wonder what LA Knight's direction is going to be too, because I would have told you once the Vision got shrunk down to two guys that you'd have the Usos versus Austin Theory and Logan Paul at Mania. But now they've kind of attached LA Knight to it, and Seth Rollins is back. So I don't know, man. What do you do with those guys if they're back? You know what I mean? I don't know. Don't know. All right, promo by Blake here. Yeah, I'm ready for LA Knight to move on to something different too, if I'm being honest. Blake says Jaida needs her. Yeah, last name. It's a good question. I don't know what the future holds for Seth. Okay, Blake putting herself over big time. Blake says people love to hate me more than they've ever loved Jaida, which on Twitter is true. And that's nothing against Jaida. What's up, Swaby? Good to see you, man. Yeah. Oh, when Jaida comes out, she's gonna be ready to throw hands. Says Jada's afraid to step up, or she can't step up. I don't know. Oh, here comes Miss Parker. Yeah, you've got to imagine Danhausen and Truth will meet each other. Okay. Truth show up with the garlic. That'd be great. Last name. I will say the very foundation and like thesis statement of this debate in promos is about how they're both the center of attention. And I don't know about the center of attention and all eyes being on me as a thing for any NXT performer to say. Yeah, that feels like main roster talk, which I mean, you want to get reps for that here, but, and I love both these ladies. I think their match will be fun. There we go. Jaida just needs to be more natural. I'm not sure that they need to feed her lines. She tends to trip up more when she's giving lines. But when she speaks what sounds like her natural personality, that comes out far, I hate to be redundant, but far more natural. Did she have something written on her hand? She totally glanced at her hand before she delivered that last line. Listen, I was going to be excited for that match no matter what, but that promo battle kind of underdelivered for me. Roman flubbed last night too, man. Sometimes that happens with Roman. 6-man tag. the Vanity Project taking on Hank and Tank and shoot. Now I can't remember who the other one is. I think it's Hank and Tank, or is it OT? I don't remember. I don't remember. Sorry. My head's not fully here tonight, guys. I'm sorry. Ricky and Ethan enjoy their chemistry. Yeah, so Wren Sinclair are taking on Nikkita Lyons and Speed tonight. We rock for Wren here at Mark Bar Wrestling for sure. Nikkita Lyons, the lady who, when they said, would you like this gimmick, or this gimmick? And she said yes. The queen of do too much is Nikkita Lyons. But we will have them both when we come back here. All right. Yeah, listen, NXT always going to deliver on the ladies matches. I know Raw didn't have any ladies matches last night, but when we're a month and a half away from Mania, I guarantee you one of the Raws that's coming down the pike is going to be very woman heavy. I just don't think they balance their shows super well. Well, the way that they balance them is episodically instead of within the episode. They'll be like, last night was all dudes matches and ladies were in backstage segments or interview time or promo time. And then it'll just be the opposite in a couple of weeks. It'll lean more towards there. Yeah, Nikkita, interesting that they sent her to Evolve. I mean, she made a big splash. Sorry, guys. She made a big splash when she debuted on NXT, and then I think she tore an ACL or something. And when she came back from that, she's been in Evolve ever since for the most part, but she seemed to be making her way back up. I think the Ladies Speed title would be a great starter title for Wren Sinclair because honestly, she could just literally out wrestle somebody for 5 minutes, and you could really make that something. I think that could be really fun. So, I would be all for that. I'd be all for Wren Sinclair just having a title, period. And I saw online, I think it's that Kendall Gray is defending the Evolve title in a street fight tomorrow night. So I'm curious if that Evolve title might be moving along and Kendall might be full-time NXT. Yeah, that's a bummer that they don't have speed matches in 2K. Like, I feel like it would be so easy just to have a short time limit match and go from there, It would be a lot of fun. Modfather, what's up, man? Welcome to the community tonight. We opened up with new North American champion Miles Bourne, impromptu defending the title in a rematch against Ethan Page in their street clothes, and he successfully defended the title against Ethan Page, and Ethan Page been in his feelings ever since. Dark State is pretty hot about losing the tag titles last night due to Tony D interference. We saw Tony D arrived, and he's got a tire iron in his hand, so he's still going to be dropping fools tonight. And then Miss Parker and Miss Monroe just had a fight in the ring. Of course, they're going to be taking on each other at Vengeance Day. And when we come back from the break, Miss Nikkita Lyons and Miss Wren Sinclair are going to have a speed match. So you came back just in time. And of course, our main event tonight is Zaria versus Jacy Jayne for the women's title. We also have a 6-man tag involving the entire Vanity Project. But I actually don't remember who they're facing. I'm going to have to check my own. Oh, yeah, Hank and Tank and Shiloh. That's who it is. Hank, Tank, and Shiloh. So, honestly, that could be a bit of a sleeper match tonight, too. Shiloh's been getting better every week, and I think Hank and Tank are good people to pair him with. Eli and Sean Legacy here. And new men's speed champion, Elio LeFleur. Eddie Thorpe, man, he was just hitting his stride. And he would have been a great North American title contender too, just with his native heritage. He pitched that idea. Jasper Troy talking smack about Keanu Carver. Oh, Briggs talking trash to Jasper Troy. Okay, well now Jasper Troy has challenged Eli Knight and Sean Legacy to a triple threat match next week. We'll see how that goes. All right, here comes Wren. The Wren QCC. All right, Modfather. We await your question of the week. Jasper and Keanu could be some real destruction. It reminds me of the old school arcade game Rampage. Just Keanu, not Keanu, but just like King Kong and Godzilla, man. I run stuff here. You just live here. Yes, Swaby. They have already changed the strap back to the traditional look. There's a part of me that's not super psyched that Nikkita got the second entrance here. I'm not going to crash out if Nikkita beats Wren, but Wren, come on, we love Wren here. She's been putting in that work. I want to see her beat Nikkita, but we'll see what happens. So I miss calling it the Canada Champions a little bit, if I'm being honest. I can't help but respect what Ethan Page did with his TV time while he held those titles. But on to bigger and better things, hopefully, for All Ego. All right, 3 minutes. It's a heavyweight 1-round bout. Crowd firmly behind Wren. Okay, so Thea Hale awaits the winner. Ooh, what a reverse kick there from Wren. Her drop kick gets, oh, shoot. Her little split leg bomb there. Nikkita only gets a 1 count on Wren, though. Swaby, they were just saying that Nikkita has slimmed up in her time on Evolve. So she's gotten in better ring shape since her debut. Crucifix, we're under 2 minutes now. Shot from Nikkita. Big suplex. Kind of a snap suplex there from Nikkita. Not bad. Kendall trying to coach Wren from the sidelines here from outside the ring. Roundhouse kick misses. Takes a shot from Wren. With the chops. Yeah, Swaby. Yeah. The Earth's greatest hero, Daniel Bryan. The eco-friendly championship, which I can't imagine what it felt like, but man, it was a good looking belt. 44 seconds left. Come on, Wren. Oh, roundhouse kick. Just ate it. Come on, Wren. Nikkita going for the pin here. Oh, reversal from Wren. Only 23 seconds. Come on, Wren. Oh, dodges. What do we got? Back suplex. Come on, Wren. Oh, cattle mutilation. Let's go. She got it. Oh, she made Nikkita tap with 5 seconds left. Let's go. Wren QCC. Wren moves on. So we're going to get Wren versus Thea Hale next week. That'll be an interesting match. I don't think I've ever seen them go one-on-one before. Be very interesting. And the winner of that match gets Fallon Henley for the speed title. I do like that. Am I wrong? That's not the cattle mutilation, right? You know, Bryan Danielson's old, his old submission. It looks familiar, but I don't know if she does something different with her arms. Honestly, watching NXT long term, Wren as a speed champion is a good call, because Wren Sinclair doing the sort of 5-minute challenge with wrestlers would be really good. Joe Hendry shaking Miles Bourne's hand backstage now. Joe and Miles just putting each other over, as good guys do. Sharmonica, exactly. People like to dunk on the speed tournament, but that's exactly what it's for. It gives people TV time. They're quick matches, and that the quickness of the matches demand. Sorry, Joe. Oh, Joe and Miles still messing with each other. I'm the champion for the cows, Tossy. Yeah, but listen, speed, like, it's a good thing. It gives people TV time. The built-in time limit demands urgency out of the matches. So wrestlers need to wrestle like the time clock is against them, because it is. You know what I mean? So it makes for a great backdrop for weekly matches, and you have a constant tournament going on, which is nice. So I'm for it. Monday Night War edition of 2K26. All right, Modfather's got a question, everybody. Question of the week. Whose entrance would you rather have? Batista with Pyro, Shawn Michaels zipline entrance, The Undertaker slow walk, or JBO's limo entrance? Well, I'm going to go ahead and knock off Shawn's. While I'm a big fan of Sexy Boy as a song, you ain't getting me on a zipline. I don't want to do no zipline entrance. Honestly, the JBL entrance is pretty dope, because you just get to ride into a limo, ride down the aisle in a limo. So I'm for it. But Batista's music and the pyro is pretty dope as well. And then also you kind of have the aura of getting to come out to the gong too as a taker. I would say for convenience, I'd say JBL. For fun though, go Batista, man. I don't know. There's a whole generation of young men and women too who just wanted to, do the machine gun thing. Shoot, even Xavier Woods liked that. There's footage on YouTube of him at WrestleMania 35. After Kofi, I think, had already won the title. That was when Batista came back, the whole "Give me what I want," match with Triple H. There's footage of Woods backstage, like looking past the crowd at his entrance, and he is screaming at the top of his lungs, singing along with Batista's theme music, like a total 8-year-old fan. It's just it's wholesome and hilarious at the same time, because I'm like, Woods is such a fan of wrestling, and I love that. Should do the speed title on Raw, SmackDown, AAA, and TNA. You know what, Shamanica? I'll say this. I like the speed matches being on NXT, but I do agree. I think they should import stars to come and be a part of it, though. So bring someone from Raw, SmackDown, AAA, TNA to these tournaments, because that's when they initially brought the speed titles. That's what they did. But now it's mainly stayed with NXT, which, I'm not mad at it, but if you were going to expand it, I wouldn't take the title to other shows. I would bring the other talent to NXT just to compete in the tournament. Undertaker slow walk for you last time, yeah. Oh, okay, Swaby, you pre-ordered the Monday Night War edition. Well, that's the one to get if you're going to pre-order any of them. You get the most stuff out of that. I don't know how these sort of battle pass things are going to work. I don't know if I'll end up getting it this year or not, but if I do, the Monday Night War edition is the one I've got my eye on, and it would be a lot of fun to get through that. I know, man. My father, WWE, just take it. That's what they do, man. They take our money. Last time, you know what? I gotta admit, I have fallen off AAA. It's just I always forget that it's on because it comes on kind of late on Saturdays. I like seeing the clips about it afterwards, so I try to keep up with it, But yeah, it's in a real bad time slot for me to watch regularly. Like, there's so much wrestling content that even if I was only following WWE alone, all of their shows, like there's a show almost every night of the week, and like there's too much life to live for me to do all that stuff live. So I keep in my niche of NXT. I do my old school stuff with Mount Rushmore matches now with my brother. I'm with you guys on the PLEs, and I try to do the occasional Raw and SmackDown when time permits. But yeah, man, it's hard. It's hard to keep up with all that, even if you're not streaming. Like, I mean, just as a consumer of it, as a fan, it's a lot. But I'm hearing really good things about AAA these days, though. That the fans are all into it. They're really enjoying it. I saw that Vikingo has Omos as his manager now, or as his heavy, as his muscle. And it doesn't look good for Dom. It's the mega champion. He's kind of outnumbered. WWE World coming to Vegas the week of Mania. Sorry, everybody. NXT Spotlight is Kalani Jordan. Kalani Jordan going to train, what, MMA? Getting ready for her underground match? Yo, Shayna Baszler. Kalani is training with Shayna Baszler, and Kalani is already on her nerves. I'm going to shut up because I just want to watch this segment. Last time I see your comment, I'm going to come back to that about TJP. Sway be 100%. There's just too much. It's too saturated. I'm so happy that they brought in Shayna for this. I love a good sparkly and deadpan combination and characters. Before Gigi Dolan left WWE, they had paired her up with Ariana Grace. And their bits were hilarious too. Okay, first of all, the NXT Underground logo very much looks like my watch-along video fonts, is all I'm saying. The only criticism I have of that segment is I can't tell if we're supposed to if we're supposed to take from that Kalani is ready for Underground or if she's too cocky. What did you guys feel about that? First of all, the idea, mwah, perfect. Love Shayna doing a cameo there. Love, love, love it. I just can't decide if NXT is trying to tell us that Kalani's ready for this fight or if she's in over her head and doesn't know it, you know? All right. Izzi and Tatum sit down. And yeah, Lola better win that match. Yeah, Swaby. She's kind of an agent or something. And like, this is no disrespect to Shayna, but she was already getting up there in age, I think. And I'm not sure that she wanted to be a full-time in-ring talent anymore. So I think she's been working with some of the women backstage off and on. So yeah, I don't know if she's a full-time employee there or if they just bring her in every once in a while. But yeah, all for it. Using her in this role is really smart. Well, considering that Lola lost those matches because she had an injured hand, I think she's she's poised to win. Honestly, Izzy's insults are so personal. I don't know how they can justify having Tatum lose this match. Oh, Tatum is not phased. Yeah, Modfather. The Wolverine game actually comes out on my birthday this year, so I'm super hyped for it. It being an Insomniac superhero game, all those Spider-Man games are fantastic. So I have high hopes for Wolverine as well. Yeah, Randy. I mean, yeah, and you notice Randy doesn't do a whole lot in his matches. RT Rick, good to see you. Izzy seems a little gotten to instead. Well, Vengeance Day will be upon us soon. We'll see. See what happens. A Deadpool DLC mod. Oh, now you're speaking my language, man. I like the sound of that. I hope they have enough Wolverine skins too. You know how in the Spider-Man games you had like 30 different suits you could wear. There's so many good Wolverine skins you could pull from in the game too. Would be a lot of fun. Okay, I made this reference last night on Raw with Dragon Lee, but Vanity Project hit the breakout button in universe mode, and now there's a brawl right as we go to commercial. And speaking of commercial, your boy is going to take a quick water break, and I will be right back, my friends. All right, everybody, I'm back. Thank you so much for your patience. Just to let you know, they had to pull apart this brawl, and they eventually just now rang the bell for the 6-man tag. So we're about a minute away from coming back to air. Big Show, Rock, and Truth are all 54. Wow. Yeah, man. No, time waits for nobody. Age just keeps on coming, right? Just absolutely crazy. But yeah, Monfather, one thing that, you know, honestly, when I have time to play games, there's plenty of games for me to choose from to occupy my time. But I was disappointed that they did not reward Spider-Man 2 with the same amount of love and DLC that they did Spider-Man 1. I really thought we'd get a little more with like Carnage or Chameleon or something like that. I don't know. So it's a bummer. Last name, if I don't have anything going on, I'll be watching SmackDown. I don't know if I'll be alive for it though, because Vengeance Day is Saturday. So if I'm gonna do any extra streaming this week at all, it'll be Vengeance Day instead of SmackDown. But I want to be locked in because obviously Cody and Drew for the WWE title again, you know? Jackson Drake impressing me more. You know, he kind of stood out to me in the NXT title ladder match from a few weeks ago. I didn't think he was going to win, but he did a lot of work in that match. I think he's going to be a bright future guy. All right, George has put on the fantasy book and sunglasses. Here's how I see the NXT Women's Championship match going tonight. Jacy Jayne gets close to retaining. Zaria spears and F5s her and wins. ZaRuca comes out and attacks her after. Okay. Hey, I'm here for it. I am here for it. The only reason that that my pitch would have Soul trying, kind of causing Zaria to win would be that one, Soul's going to want to rob Zaria of the same opportunity that Zaria robbed of her. But also, if Zaria wins the title, and in the back of her mind, she still knows she hasn't. She could not win a title without Soul's help. Ooh, that would just be really good storytelling for that Soul and Zaria feud. Uh-oh. Keanu Carver out here, Will Smith and Booker T. Says, tell your boy to keep his name out of my mouth. I think he's talking about Jasper Troy. Ooh, and Booker was like, look, Shooker T. Booker said, I don't know what you're talking about. It ain't my business. Love it. Keanu, man, he performs well though. He's got that dangerous aura about him. Last name, I do not think we have a full card for Vengeance Day yet. Usually NXT's PLEs are about 6 matches, and I think we have 4. So I'd expect 2 more. I would expect the NXT women's title to be on the line, and maybe the men's North American title too, or maybe a tag title match. I don't know, because right now we've got Jaida and Blake. We've got triple body slam here. We've got Jaida and Blake. We have Izzi and Tatum. We have Joe and Ricky. And then we've got the underground match. So actually we have 2 non-title matches at Vengeance Day right now and 2 title matches. So we're actually a little short on title matches at the moment. Uh-oh, they moved the steps out to the middle of the outside ring area. Blind tag with the Vanity Project. We are at the halfway point for tonight's program. Jacy Jayne getting revved up for tonight's title defense, working out backstage. Man, big chop from Hank. I think we see a triple threat match for the women's title. Actually, that's not a bad call last name. Not a bad call at all. Do a triple threat match, and then like we have it. If it's me, like again, if we're not doing Soul and Zaria 1-on-1 at Stand and Deliver, I don't know what we're doing. Title or no title. That should be a 1-on-1 match. Cartwheel from Tank. Man, shot to the face. Ugh. Big clothesline from Tank to both members of the Vanity Project. Ooh, geez. Hank just eats post. Crowd's kind of gotten quiet here. Does Jackson Drake's trunks say Dr. Thirst on them? What in the Walmart Dr. Pepper ripoff kind of gimmick name is that? Vanity Project has trapped Tank with the steps up against the ring apron. And he eats a drop kick to the back from Jackson Drake. And we're headed towards a commercial break. Do I think Hank and Tank is going wrestling at WrestleMania? I don't think so. I love Hank and Tank, but I love them kind of like the way I loved Chase U. Like I don't know. I don't know how well they will thrive on the main roster in their current form. You know, they're going to need to level up some to really be embraced to be main roster ready. There's just some talents that work really well for their quirkiness in NXT that doesn't always translate to the main roster. And I do think Hank and Tank currently are like that, kind of like Heavy Machinery was. Their shtick didn't really connect well on the main roster, not the performers. No. Somebody just asked me if I think they'll wrestle at WrestleMania. And I'm like, I think they need to do some growing before they're WrestleMania ready. I like them. I like them as they are. But like, what? Because Otis was like this too. Like Otis was different in NXT, and he had to evolve a little bit in his character. He had the talent, but he had to change a little bit to really connect with the main roster audiences. Y'all just got me in trouble in my marriage over that Hank and Tank question. No more Hank and Tank questions from the community, okay? I cannot afford any missteps here. Only questions that will have me scoring bat brownie points with the misses. Do you think it's really hard to switch from NXT to the main roster? Honestly, I think it all hinges on what kind of. This feels like kind of a duh answer, and I don't mean it that way, but it all hinges on what kind of development you put into your NXT time. Because look at the trio of excellence that we had that just got called up, right? Obafemi, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. All of them developed really well in NXT. 3 distinct personalities. They all got mega popular in NXT. And by the Lord's good graces, they all debuted at different times on the main roster around the same time period. And all 3 of them were well received by the crowd. So you have to have the combination of putting in your own work. And I think you have to have a little bit of luck of creative liking you and wanting to do something with you too, because I know I'm going back and talking about Vince days instead of Triple H days, but like, Shinsuke Nakamura and Finn Balor both had great presentations too. Samoa Joe as well. And none of them really got their due credit when they came up to the main roster too. Lash Legend, yes, George. Lash is a great example of that as well. And I think she might be the best example of those 4 because she probably gained the most ground, because those 3 guys, to a degree, maybe Trick took some development, but all 3 of them were kind of as good as they were going to be and stuck around NXT for a long time in a good way. RT Rick asked, anyone remember a team think they were called the Street something or I know, man, the Street Profits disappeared. And I saw someone online last week have kind of a cynical take about Montez Ford, in that now that Javon Evans is on the main roster, are they going to pay as much attention to to Montez as a singles act anymore? Will they ever, like, basically suggesting they're never going to go back to that? Because like we're already doing that with Javon Evans now. And they might be right. I don't think it's the right decision. I think Ford can still do gangbusters on his own if they would just do something with him. But I am a little nervous for his chances now that Javon is there and thriving. And Trick too, to be honest. Saw a picture of a new Nation of Domination. Oba, Trick, Javon, Evan, and Cody. Come on. Cody Raheem. What a mess. Meanwhile, the 6-man tag's still going on. Listen, y'all, Jackson Drake, barring injury and the right amount of investment and development, Jackson Drake's going to be somebody one of these days. I don't know who he's going to be, but he's going to be somebody. The rest of the 80s movie teen villains, that is the Vanity Project, I don't know. But and you know what? I think Shiloh may surprise us one day too. When I heard of LFG as a show, I'm like, this is going to be like the old NXT with like Maven and those guys. Like we might see those guys for a little bit. Man, Hank's Boss Man Slam was just nasty. I love that. A Boss Man Slam, Black Hole Slam, whatever generation you come from. It's a great move. Honk honk, meet in the middle. Now, double dive, and Shiloh Hill climbed. He ran up the stairs. That was a great finish. So Hank and Tank did stereo suicide dives out of the ring to knock out the Vanity Project, and simultaneously, those steps that had been set up outside the ring, Shiloh sprinted up and dove over the top rope into the ring and took down Jackson Drake and then hit his finish and hot finish. Honestly, that reminded me of like a 1991 WCW Southern 6-man tag finish with updated moves. That was honestly really good. Good energy on the finish. And I was just getting ready to say it was slowing down, and they picked it back up. So yeah, Hank, Tank, and Shiloh, I don't know that they need a faction per se, but I like them being friends. I think that works well for them. Oh, Blake is back out. Wardrobe change. She is pouting and sitting on the announcement. Is it like a pipe bomb sitting on the announcer's table? Oh, she's dressed in all black. She's the Hell alter ego thing. Okay, street fight. Blake and Jaida. And Jaida said, why we got to wait till Saturday? That's one thing I love about Jaida Parker is that she reacts logically. She's not a person who Jaida is having to be restrained by Hank and Tank and Shiloh. Actually, Tank is pulling back Blake, and dang. Oh, and now there's chaos backstage. Oh, Osiris got dropped by Tony, and now Dark State is freaking out. Dion said he's going to the ring to call out Tony. Last name, I did not see the CVV interview with Statlander. I mean, I saw that it dropped, but I did not watch it. Was it good? Yeah, Dark State is about to get their Kappa is about to get detated. The little guy, RT Rick, Saquon Sugars, is that in Dark State? Is that who you're referring to? The guy who only wears one sleeve of his shirts all the time? Yeah. Saquon Sugars, who's actually maybe one of the best of the four in ring. Him or Dion Lennox. They have two different styles, but I think those two guys are up top. Osiris Griffin's kind of in the middle, and Cutler's not bad in the ring, but his personality is just at the bottom. He doesn't even, personality-wise, doesn't even belong with that group. I don't know why they put him with them. Honestly, he would be better off paired up with Josh Briggs or somebody. And it's not a white boy thing either. Like he just doesn't sticks out like a sore thumb. So just is what it is. Yeah. So yeah, maybe this is Dark State getting dismantled right in front of our eyes. Tony D style. I'm curious after, when Tony came back, when he finally spoke, he said, I got two objectives. I came back to accomplish two things and said one is to get rid of Dark State which he's working on. And 2, he says, I'll tell you when I'm done with Dark State. So do you think he goes after the NXT champion at that point? I don't know. Last name, that's a good question. Do you think Judgment Day's ending soon? Last night when Danhausen showed up, I was thinking too big of a picture. Everybody else was basically saying, yeah, like Dom's going to lose the title because Danhausen just cursed Dom, which is what ended up happening, right? But when he threw the curse out, I was just sitting here thinking, oh, he just cursed all of Judgment Day. Judgment Day's about to die. Like our long national nightmare. No, but like I think I thought he had cursed the entirety of Judgment Day. So I just figured 1 week at a time they're going to start falling apart. But I think it would be a good time to disband Judgment Day or to shrink it down a little bit. Because Finn probably is going to go on his own way. I'd kind of like JD to go with Finn maybe, and do something for him there. And then Dom can do whatever he wants, man. Like, dude's got enough charisma to stand on his own. And we'll see. We'll see what happens with the ladies as well. They all have good futures ahead of them. Liv could be women's champion by WrestleMania. We don't know. Yes, indeed. Listen to RT Rick's wisdom right here. Hit that like button. Join the conversation. We love to have you here. Listen, if you're just lurking and not chatting, that's okay. I just want to let you know a little bit about who we are here. So here at Marked by Wrestling, what we say at the end of every broadcast is being a mark means you believe, and believing makes wrestling better. And what that means to me is that we're a space where we watch wrestling together. We talk about wrestling together. And we try to focus on the things that make us enjoy wrestling, because you can throw a rock into the internet and hit an opinion that wants to complain about what's going on in wrestling or wants to tear down wrestling. And so we predominantly watch NXT because that's a show that not a lot of people watch. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of see the prospects of who's next. And we do the big PLEs and other stuff like that too. We talk about but during NXT, we talk about what's going on Raw and SmackDown, and sometimes AAA, sometimes TNA, occasionally AEW, though admittedly, I don't have the bandwidth to watch everything, so I'm not always up to speed on stuff. We have a X-ray review of Lola's hand. Anyway, we're a positive place. Our goal is to share with each other our joys about wrestling, and that's all we try to do here, man. So nastiness doesn't really get tolerated in the conversation. So I'll just be upfront about that, because it's just not who we are, and there's a million places to do that on the internet. They're telling Lola she could be out 6 months. Wow. Lola's taking her health into her own hands. So they have her going into the underground match vulnerable. Interesting storytelling. All right. Dion calling out Tony D. They are milking it, George, but you know what? That tells me they care about the angle. So I'm for it. Tony D now dressing like a Italian Trick Williams, trying to show off his chest under his coat. Tony said, I'm here to kill your dreams. Are we going to get Tony and Dion at Vengeance Day? Dion needs to work on his promos a little bit. So are they doing a parking lot fight? Hmm. Okay, so I guess Jacy Jayne about to get interviewed. I guess the idea of Tony destroying Dark State was beating Cutler one-on-one, robbing Sugars of the tag titles, knocking out Osiris, and then taking out Dion at Vengeance Day. That's my best guess because it doesn't sound like they're going to disband. All right, so Jacy's already confident that Soul's going to interfere. One thing that I have observed tonight in some of the promos, good promo from Jacy, by the way, she's ready for the main roster, is that, you know, there was an old school thought back in the day that, you know, before things got overly scripted, you just got bullet points and it was up to you and your personality to get over. And I actually think there's a good number of talent who have the gifting to go out and just cut a promo with their natural personality, with their natural talent. But I think some of these people are over scripted because I'm hearing a couple of promos tonight and they're struggling a bit and flubbing lines, probably because they're trying to remember a script they were given, but they have the natural personality to be charismatic and to get over. And Dion Lennox and Jaida Parker are two of the ones that really come to mind. Like Jaida, when Jada's just straight talking to you with her own attitude, and you just like, Jaida, communicate this point about Blake Monroe, you believe it 100%. But if you're like, say this exact sentence to Jaida, it seems like she stumbles a little bit. And I get not to the degree that I think Jaida is good, but I think Dion has a similar situation as what I think, because Dion's promo was kind of weak and he was flubbing lines, but I could see that attitude there, and he had that delivery like yeah, if they just let him talk in his own language, I feel like he could be more believable. I say his own language, I mean like his own voice. But it sounds like he was trying to communicate somebody else's feelings. And, you know, sometimes that's the game. Sometimes that's what you got to do in this business. George, you know, I don't know if Soul's here. They have not shown ZaRuca in the building tonight, which I will say normally they'll already do that. and we're getting, I'll say this, we are not going to have a situation like last week where Zaria speared Soul and then 3 seconds later the match was over. We've got a good half hour left in this show, and the title match is coming up now, and we don't have any more matches booked tonight, as far as I know. So it's make or break time. We're going to get a real match from Zaria. I don't think that means that we're not going to see ZaRuca, but it's not going to be, blow for blow like it was last week. Yeah, I think they overshoot and they overscript their promos sometimes. And it seems worse in NXT than it is on the main roster when it's overscripted, because sometimes I'll be talking to you, like sometimes I'll be talking to you guys in the chat and we'll be asking questions or talking about other things that are going on. And I've got one ear tuned into the show to hear like, okay, what's the main point they're trying to make in their promo, right? And I'll be listening while I'm talking. And then as it's going on, and all of a sudden I'm like, they're not even really making a point. They're just saying a bunch of words. Like, and maybe they're delivering the words eloquently, but they're not saying anything. You know what I mean? And it's far less important to be eloquent in a wrestling promo and far more important to make somebody feel something. In the case in point, he's injured right now, but Braun Breaker is not an excellent promo giver in terms of his articulation, but he gets the point across like nobody's business. He's real, and you believe it. And so the passion and the meaning has to come through more than the words have to make sense. It's nice to have both. It really is nice to have both. If you have both, you have somebody like Jake the Snake who can make you feel everything and also could speak like a poet. But yeah, or Bray Wyatt or in his early days. Anyways, has Ricky Saints been on site? Yes. Ricky Saints was in a backstage segment consoling Ethan Page after he lost that impromptu rematch to Miles Bourne. And basically he was just like, you're going to get that title back, Ethan, and I'm going to get the title at Vengeance Day. Get a promo here. Vengeance Day commercial. Vengeance Day Saturday, 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern on Peacock. So, yeah. And WrestleMania, man, 46 days, about a month and a half away from the biggest event of the year, going back to Vegas. Give me just a second, everybody. All right, I'm back, everybody. Birthright here. Birthright trying to recruit Charlie Dempsey and Tavion trying to keep him from it. Boy, they just cut that promo off for Zaria's entrance. For Zaria's entrance, excuse me. Sorry, man. Door-to-door salesman coming by in the middle of NXT. in the middle of Shawn Michaels' NXT. Can you believe it? Shmonica asks, how do you feel about NXT Stand and Deliver standing on its own this year? I love that. I love that so much. Because one, last year, because the WrestleMania event of the weekend was so long, Stand and Deliver had to be on early in the morning. And then that means the talent, their call times to the building was like grossly early in the morning. So it's hard on the talent, right? Two, Stand and Deliver is sort of like a season finale for NXT, right? It's their WrestleMania. And so if anybody is ready to be called up to the main roster, if they're wrapped up with NXT 2 or 3 weeks before WrestleMania, they could debut at WrestleMania or debut, the night after Mania and have time to be prepared for that. So I'm all for Stand and Deliver still being in the same season, the same month as Mania, but not on the same day. Yeah, man, you got to hit the door-to-door salesman with the sweet chin music. And I'll just send the channel mascot to spear him. He almost did, honestly. He's very energetic. So thank goodness for screen doors. Yeah, I'm glad it's not on Make It Mania weekend either. I don't think my voice could handle chatting through Stand and Deliver and 2 nights of Mania. Yeah, George, I can see the same. I'm not going to write that in permanent ink or anything, but I could see it being that way. Jacy's looking around for something, but she doesn't see it. I think she was expecting Soul to come and save her. Yeah, Jacy Jayne's banking on ZaRuca causing a DQ in this match. Right, Shamanica. Oh, Jacy taking a jump. Interesting having the 2K ratings on these performers during 2K season. If Paul Heyman brings in Cross, that could be very interesting. I don't know that that's in the cards, but you know what? I'd be happy to see Cross back in WWE though. He was really doing great work when they walked away. He's drinking your milk. Yeah, well, I mean, you've got to balance out. You do have to balance out the ratings. I mean, she is the champion. This is a shame if Jacy was lower rated before. She shouldn't be. All right, Zaria in control here. Oh, he's the MLW champion. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, sounds like he's got a full plate then. Zaria doing a deadlift suplex on Jacy. Ooh. You know what? I know I've been a big advocate of Jacy Jayne over the past few months with all the improvement she's had in the past year. But can we just take a moment and look back at the fact that she was in Toxic Attraction with Mandy Rose? Like she was a henchwoman for Mandy Rose, and like look at her now. She's come a really long way. Jelly Roll is an 80. Shamanica, yeah, that's why I can't put too much stock into player ratings. That's crazy. But sometimes I think about back in my day, there was a NBA Jam, the basketball game, the arcade basketball game, and you could play as like unlockable characters like the Beastie Boys or Bill Clinton or whoever, just like random people who aren't basketball players. Zaria just speared herself into the stairs, by the way, and then just ate a cannonball into the stairs from Jacy. And their stats were like maxed out. And I think sometimes when you're a specialty character, your stats can be a little overinflated just so people will want to play as you so they can play as someone who's really good in the game. That's my best excuse for that. But yeah, otherwise I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Fatal influence definitely getting involved here. That's always the story. Shamanica, you know he paid 2K for that rating. He had to influence that. But Logan, honestly, with his moveset as a video game character, I'm not going to argue too hard against it. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this we might have a long match on our hands. We'll see what happens here. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot. We're getting a segment with Ricky Saints tonight. So I guess that's going to be the main event segment. So this match won't go the whole way. I thought it was going to be a long match, but I imagine we'll probably get another 10 minutes out of this. So we'll get a good match here. But I already forgot Ricky Saints is closing the show. He's doing something like called the Absolute Experience, like a concert to counteract Joe Hendry, to counter program Joe Hendry. Jacy working that body scissors and chin lock. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds here. Jacy, just working heat on Zaria pretty much. Wonder if Booker is going to sing Ricky Saints. It depends, man. Depends if he has something that's sing alongable. I'm sure Booker will try. He's had a lot of fun with all that. Right. Yeah, Soul is a wild card if she's there for sure. Jacy's still in control here. Oh, man, what a shot. Just right to the face. Superplex incoming. Big superplex from Zaria. women's wrestling chant from the NXT faithful. All right, throwing hands. Joe sang for Drew. I think I remember hearing about that. I don't think I've ever seen it though. Big headbutt from Zaria. Northern Lights. Ooh. Suplex there from Zaria. Big clothesline. Only two. Fallon Henley sweating on the outside of the ring. Man, yeah, I know at some point the shoe's got to drop in this match. Just curious when it's going to happen. Ooh, big knee from Zaria right out of the corner. German suplex. Oh, gosh, like a snap German suplex from Zaria. Comes another one. Jeez. The way Jacy's landed on those. I mean, it's not on her head, but pretty rough. Man, Jacy catches her with a knee. He uses the momentum against her. Just amazing. All right, here comes Jacy going for the rolling. Oh, no, misses. Eats a spear. Uh-oh. She going to go up for the F5? She's got her up, but nope. Floats over and, hits the rolling encore, and Zaria looks out. But Jacy is out too. Can Jacy make the cover? And here comes Soul. Soul she's taking out Fatal Influence. And now here she comes. Soul Snatcher. A double Soul Snatcher. And there's your DQ. The crowd is not really cheering this, though. Interesting. Also, she didn't really catch Zaria with the Soul Snatcher. She missed Zaria. Well, I got to say this. I don't think NXT fans have chosen a side between Soul and Zaria. They definitely hate Fatal Influence. But some fans are cheering for Soul, but there was a real groan when they rang the bell for the DQ as well. So interesting. So yeah, maybe we get a triple threat this weekend, or does it go all the way to Stand and Deliver, and Zaria wins the triple threat, and Jacy and Soul both leave? I don't know. We'll just have to see, shall we? Won't we? Oh man. Who knows what the future holds? Gosh. All right. Well, how are you guys feeling tonight's episode? I mean, I think there's a lot of good build. It is kind of a go home show, for Vengeance Day. I think Vengeance Day is shaping up to be a good show. Um, Blake and Jaida going to be in a street fight. Izzi and Tatum for the North American title. We'll get Dion and Tony D in the parking lot. Ricky and Joe, obviously, and the underground match as well. So it's really going to be something else. Yeah, I think it's been a solid show. Even that 6-man tag really turned up towards the end, and was a good finish. Yeah, yeah, RT Rick, you're right. Shiloh's neckbreaker was good. It looked great. Well, yeah, 10 out of 10, chin up, chest out. Watch out for the door to door salesman, right? Watch out for the sweet chin music. Hands off the merchandise. Yes, indeed. Hmm. Hmm. Wrestling is forever life, for sure. Wrestling is life like football is life, if you're in Ted Lasso. All right, we are back. All right, yeah. So here's the recap, you guys, of the opening segment, the impromptu North American title match. Last name, the matches I'm looking forward to the most is the street fight between Jaida Parker and Blake Monroe, and the underground match between Lola and Kalani. I think those are the two I'm looking forward to the most right now. Like those four, especially with Kalani's segment with Shayna Baszler tonight. Those four ladies, I think, are, well, actually, I was going to say are the top of the division for me and my fandom. But if I'm being honest, I've completely neglected Soul and Jacy and Zaria too in that. And if I'm being honest though, when I think I'm still going to stick to that, because when I think about Soul and Jacy, I think of the way I used to think about Trick and Oba and Javon as two stellar performers who I'm already starting to think of as main roster people, even though they're not there yet. You know what I mean? All right, running down the card, street fight, and then North American title, NXT Underground, Lola and Kalani. I like that Lola's graphic has her AAA mixed tag title in it. Tony D'Angelo and Dion Lennox. Yeah. Yeah. Half the card is women's matches. So love to see that. Again, NXT is a very balanced book, a very evenly booked show at all times. Sarah Schreiber. Robert Stone hasn't been doing a bad job, by the way. Okay. They're going to announce a decision about the women's title on Saturday at Vengeance Day. So likely we'll get the stand and deliver match there. You know, it would be wild. And maybe this honestly though, this would telegraph the finish to the match. But Stone is like, I can't handle this anymore. It's a triple threat for the NXT title, and whoever loses leaves NXT. Robert Stone, he's been surprisingly good as GM for now. They keep calling him the interim GM, but he's been interesting because he's been how do I say it? He's not really been a heel, but he's been he's like aggressively neutral, if that makes sense. Because he was the one telling Miles Bourne, he's like, you can't be passive. You need to show some edge, show some anger. And Miles actually copped to it, and that ended up getting him the North American title shot and winning the title and winning it and defending it tonight. Oh gosh, the Little Pebble RT Rick, you ain't wrong about this. We're getting a rock concert right here and everything. There's a guitar in the ring. Four-way match. Wouldn't be terrible. Yeah. Yeah, Ava made an abrupt departure from NXT, unfortunately, and WWE. Ricky absolutely does think he's the Rock. Here's the question: can he actually play guitar, or is this going to be abysmal? The lights do look nice. Yeah, he can't play. He was singing Sabrina Carpenter. Wow. Wow. Yeah, he's got 5 minutes left on the show. There he is, right on cue, Booker T, singing "I Believe in Ricky." Oh my gosh. Crowd chanting for Joe. I wonder if anybody in the crowd has yelled "Free Bird" yet. Yeah, he keeps stalling. This is brutal. All right. It's time to go ahead and bring Joe Hendry out because this is dying a slow death. I mean, I know it's supposed to be bad, but it's just feeling Joe Hendry is the tech who keeps messing with who gives the chair. The guy from the cooking show, Guy Fieri. Oh my gosh. All right, Ricky explaining his jokes is kind of funny. Oh, he's going to give off the guitar. Surely Joe is actually the is the roadie out here, the stagehand, and he's going to drop him with the guitar. Uh, and El Kabong. Look at the professionalism with which Joe moved all that equipment to. That's just an extra layer of funny to me because Joe, is a musician. Oh, here comes the Vanity Project. Come on. Where's Hank and Tank? Where's Shiloh? Come on, guys. Oh, here comes Miles. Then where's Ethan? Like there's a counterpart for everybody. Miles just hit that Randy drop kick. Ooh. Joe with a fall away slam right into Vanity Project. And Ricky gets launched. Honestly, the Vanity Project, Ricky Saints, and Ethan Page would be a great War Games team, heel War Games team. And you could do Ricky, Miles, Shiloh, and Hank and Tank. I mean, honestly, that wouldn't be a bad War Games match. Okay, and that just like that, we're done. We kind of sprinted to the finish on that one tonight, but there we go. That being said, not a bad show tonight. It felt a little disjointed in pacing sometimes, if I'm being honest, but good ending, good sell for Vengeance Day coming up. So tell you what, I'm gonna give you guys some quick predictions since I won't be back again until the weekend. So let's just talk about the matches as they've been announced. So, yeah, Joe Hendry versus Ricky Saints for the title. I mean, I think Joe's got to retain, right? I mean, I feel like he just got the title, so I'm gonna give Joe the edge there. Izzy, Damon, Tatum, Paxley. I kind of want to see Tatum take this one at this point. I think we're gonna get that, and Lola Vice and Kalani Jordan in NXT Underground. Ooh, Lola's got that injured hand. I think she uses the injured hand to still win. And they end up running some kind of angle with her as to whether or not she can continue going into Stand and Deliver. Blake Monroe versus Jaida Parker in the street fight. That's honestly the hardest one. It's the hardest one for me to call because honestly, I think both ladies could use a win at this point. And in a street fight, I don't know, man. I don't know who to call. I don't know who to call on that one. Because if I'm being honest, I think Jaida is more over than Blake, but I think they want Blake to be more over than Jaida. So I'm going to lean Blake, but I don't think it's the right call. I think Jaida should win that match, but I don't think she's going to. I think Blake's going to find a way to win. And then Tony D'Angelo, I think he's absolutely going to steamroll Dion Lennox. I think he's winning that match. So I wouldn't say predictable, but I just have strong feelings about how I think every match is going to go, with the exception of two. I think the underground match and the street fight really could go either way, but we'll see what happens, right? So that is Vengeance Day this Saturday. And I thank you guys for joining me tonight. As always, really appreciate your time and hanging with me. Don't forget to check out the Mount Rushmore matches at some point. We got the Steiner Brothers and Nikkita Koloff episodes already up. We'll have more. We'll have another episode up next week. And Vengeance Day this weekend. So anyways, you guys take care of yourselves. And thanks for hanging out tonight. And don't forget to be a mark because like we always say, man, being a mark means you believe. Believing makes wrestling better. You guys take care of yourselves and have a great rest of your evening.